We have to go in with the high level thought process first of what are we doing? And what are we doing is we don't believe education is where it needs to be. What is happening is we're leaving behind creativity and curiosity, and it's hurting learner, educator, community. In doing so, how do we create a humanizing education framework that elevates these specific actions like creativity and curiosity and creates further impact not only in the classroom, but within our communities? How do we do it? We break it into 3 different models ultimately. Pillars, if you will, of the organization. The first pillar is let's bring together great individuals, thought leaders, and organizations from around the space that have been doing this for quite some time, but instead of doing it in their own silos, let's do this collaboratively. Now, what does that mean? We share ideas, we collaborate on specific projects with one another, we file for grants and RFPs together and opportunities, and at the end of the day, it's supporting each other in any way, shape, and form, not competitively, but collaboratively. What we then do is moving into our second pillar, which now that we have this initial great think tank, how do we take all that information and disseminate it and do so in different properties? So a property, for instance, might be the Thinkering Collective Fellowship. What we want to do is take all these great pieces of content and information and conversation that is taking place within this expert community in Pillar 1 and share it with educators on the front lines. So the fellowship program will run teachers through a 4-month program, pairing them with a lead mentor, pairing them with other educators to work on a humanizing education framework that they could then bring back to their own community through a capstone project, shared with their colleagues, their administrators, students, parents, etc., to elevate their own learning experiences. That's one example of what a property might be. Another property might be around entrepreneurship. Another one might be around agriculture and nutrition. All these areas that, as an organization and a collective, we feel are being missed by traditional education, testing, standardized formats, etc. So as an organization, we'll develop a lot of these internal properties. And what we really want to do with all this information then, data-driven, is share it through rich media. So all these outputs that we're having from our internal Pillar 1 conversations to our property conversations, how do we take that knowledge, put it into formats that the general public can understand, access, and grasp? That could be everything from podcasts to social media streams to formatted documentaries featuring the learning experiences that take place within this community that we could then publicize in a very natural, organic, engaging way, and then leverage all that data on the back end to create more programming, more partners, more opportunities. So ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a full wheel experience that is starting with the knowledge gap, ultimately, putting people in place that could help solve those problems, sharing that information through specific themes, subject areas, and actions that innovate within communities, and then share that globally to get a new framework out there, all evidence and data-based.